Hey, what's going on? I'm Joe McCall. I'm with Gavin Timms. How you doing, Gavin?
Good, Joe. How are you?
Awesome. Wishing I was playing golf right now. Not that that sounded bad. I don't mean to say that like I'm bummed that I'm here with you
Yeah,
live right
okay.
now on this little video. I'm just, I saw you have a golf hat and I have a golf hat with my marker on here. So
You're ready to go.
yeah. I'm playing tomorrow and Saturday. But anyway, guys, hey, what's going on? We wanted to do another video here and talk about this live marketing class we have coming up next week. And even if you're watching this after we've done it, you can still go to livemarketingclass.com and maybe get the replays. But Gavin, if you were to, if what I wanted to talk about on this podcast was if you were to be taken away and dropped from where you lived and dropped into a market that you've never done deals before, or, you know, I mean, God forbid a terrorist held a gun at your head and said, I'm going to pull the trigger unless you do a deal in 30 days. And you have to go pick a new market, right? And you didn't know anybody. You haven't done any deals there before. What would you start doing to get motivated seller leads? Everybody thinks it's really hard to get motivated seller leads right now. And we're not saying it isn't. It is. But if you don't know the right way to do it, if you don't know the right things to do, you're really going to struggle in this business, right? So we're doing a live marketing class this coming week where we're going to be talking all about that. And we're going to be showing you, and not just showing you, we're going to be doing it. We're going to be picking a brand new market that morning and going into that market and doing the stuff. We're going to be finding the buyers, finding the sellers, talking to buyers, making offers right then and there live. And we're doing this live without spending a ton of money on marketing. I mean, we'll pay a little bit of money for the list. We'll pay a little money for skip tracing, but we're doing this on a very, very limited budget. And we're showing you how to do it, not to say, hey, look how awesome we are, but to show you how easy it actually really is. Right.
Yep.
So we wanted on this podcast, Gavin, let's just talk about some of the things that we're going to be actually showing them how to do in this live marketing class. So Gavin, somebody kidnapped you, dropped you off into the middle of nowhere, South Dakota.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, firstly, if I was getting dropped off and I was on the ground, it'd be obviously driving for dollars, walking for dollars, door knocking, right? One of them three, if I had a car or not, would be number one, looking for distressed properties. I would be door knocking and calling. If I had a phone, then I would be on this as much as possible, because my theory is that if you're not on the phone, you're not making money.
Ooh, write
That's
her
how I
down.
got. Yeah, that's how I
Write
got into
that
the
down.
business. Yeah, if you're not on the phone, you're not making money. And I think people get scared of the phone and they try to miss the phone out, right? Because it's hard. They don't want to have conversations. They're like, well, can I just make a blind offer? Well, of course you can, but you're going to have to do like 1,000 more of them to get an offer accepted, right? So that would be obviously the first thing would be, again, driving, walking for dollars, door knocking. Second to that would be then pulling a list, identifying the areas of where I'd be looking at. Go on, what you going to say?
Well, I forgot all about that. Driving for dollars. Obviously, we can't do that in this live marketing class that we're doing,
Right.
right? But that is such a smart idea, right? Like, and you're absolutely right. If you're not on the phone, you're not making money. What's the number one rule in real estate? It's not location, 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 as everybody likes to say. It's make offers, make offers, make offers. And how can you make offers if you're not talking to people?
Yep.
And how can you talk to people? How can you not talk to people unless you're picking up the phone and calling them? So one of the best things you could do is just get in the car, drive around the neighborhoods that you're in. And there's simple things, and we'll show you this in the livemarketingclass.com, how to pick the best neighborhoods to drive in. It's really, really simple and easy to pull up some really simple websites, find where the hot zip codes are, where the investors are already buying the properties, right? And then go drive those neighborhoods, look for the houses that need work, updating, gutters are bad shape, the grass is tall, there's boarded up windows. Find those addresses, skip trace them, and just get on the phone. And do you need any fancy software to do that, Gavin?
Absolutely not.
Uh-uh.
No, you don't, because sometimes it holds people back,
Yeah.
doesn't it? I mean, in the coaching program, if we have clients that are not tech savvy, just get rid of the software. You can still do deals with zero software. If you're willing to talk to
Yeah.
people and make offers, you're golden.
I did deals when I first got started with pad and paper. pen and paper, right? I had 4 different folders, one folder for hot leads, one for warm, cold, and then another folder for blank lead sheets. And so I would fill my folder with blank lead sheets. And every time I talked to a seller, I'd fill one out. If it was a hot lead, I would put it in the hot folder, right? If it was a warm lead, that'd be somebody I'd be following up with every week. A cold folder would be somebody I follow up with every month. So you just need a cell phone, a laptop, computer helps, but you don't need the fancy software, the CRMs and all of that, right? So first thing we would do, totally agree, get in the car and drive for dollars. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the other thing as well, just thinking about it, would be hitting up all the realtors, their offices, right? And asking them, hey, I'm an investor. I'm looking to buy, distressed properties that I could rent out or flip. What's a good area to start with? Get the zip codes from them even, right? You just sometimes, the simple things are what work, right? The basic things. We talk a lot about being brilliant at the basics. And I think every foundation of every business, and I do it, Joe, as well. Sometimes we get in the weeds, right? And we start going off on a tangent, and then we have to come back to the basic things that work. And that would be another one, because who knows more knowledge of the area than a seasoned realtor, right? They know the pockets, they know where you need to buy, where to stay away from. So you can get this knowledge through a bit of research and networking to then transition, then start, generating leads and doing deals.
Yeah. I mean, it's just getting on the phone. And that's one thing we're going to do also in this live class is we're going to be getting on the phone and calling property managers and realtors. And we're just going to be talking to them and say, hey, we're new to the area. We're investors. We're looking for deals. I know you guys are really busy right now and it's a hot market, but do you have any clients who have a property they just want to get rid of? They want to sell. And just talk to realtors. And when you let the realtor know that, hey, listen, you can represent me and get both sides of the commission, or I don't have an agent representing me, you can make money by bringing me deals. It's so much easier when you're talking to realtors that way. Like, how can I help you, Mr. Realtor, make more money? I'm looking for deals. You're looking for money. Let's work together. And it's amazing how simple that is. So, you can talk to realtors and property managers, find the best zip codes, find out if there's any deals that they have, off-market deals, or maybe even any listed deals that or they know the seller might be open to negotiating their price, right?
Yep.
That is, I would be spending, here's the thing. If I was hungry, the fastest way to a deal is on the phone, right? If I had to make money, I would be spending at least a minimum of 5 to 6 hours a day on the phone.
Yeah. And I'd even go to say, Joe, that I wouldn't even get dropped into a market because I wouldn't need to, right? I'd just say, pick a market online and then
all right,
go,
well, okay,
right?
well, drop me off in the Bahamas or something then, right?
Yeah, exactly. Drop me off at the beach with a phone and then let me go.
Right. That's a great thing about this business is you can do it anywhere, from anywhere in the world. We have people listening to this right now who are on the other side of the world. They're in China, they're in Japan, they're in Australia, and they're listening to this right now. And you're maybe a U.S. citizen, I don't know, but you're thinking, I want to do real estate, but I'm stuck in this job. Or what am I going to do when I get out of the military? And you're like, man, okay, listen, you can live anywhere in the world and do deals in the United States, and all you need is a phone. So it's just a matter of talking to people. It's called the flap your lips method. It's flap your lips, talk to people. Do you have any deals? Here's the thing. I tell this story a lot. There's this guy, he's a legend here in St. Louis, and I've never met him. I've only heard about him. But he's kind of an introvert, doesn't like going around in the investor circles, but he's got a good Rolodex of 100, 200 active people in the market, real estate investors, wholesalers, property managers, realtors and all of that. And whenever he wants some money, he goes through that list and calls everybody on there and asks them 2 questions. Number 1, I'm looking for deals. Do you have anything? And then number 2, are you looking for deals? What are you looking for? And he asks everybody that question. And every time, by the time he goes through his Rolodex, he finds somebody who has a deal they want to sell and get rid of, and they find somebody else who has a deal they want to buy. He puts them together and makes some money. So it's always easier to sell a deal that somebody wants than to sell them what you have. So that's really important. Just get out there and ask them that question. Ask the property manager, do you have any clients who are looking for deals right now? Do you have any clients that maybe are looking to invest private money into some deals? I find deals all the time. I may not want them. Maybe I can send them to you. etc. Right?
Yep.
So yeah,
And the good thing is as well about the live marketing class that we're doing is we have no idea yet even what market we're going in.
yeah,
We have no idea how it's going to go, right? We could look silly, but that's kind of for me the exciting part, right? Because it's raw and it's real, and people get to see like, oh yeah, you guys are gonna, get some wins, see some challenges, right? Just like they are in their day to day. And I think when we've done this in the past, that's what people like. They like to see people sometimes not answering or people going crazy or whatever it may be, and how you get around that. So I'm excited about it.
the other cool thing, we get a lot of great feedback when we've done things like this before is um, we'll do role playing and practicing. And sometimes, when we're on a live class, we get so many voicemails. It's just like, okay, let's just practice role play. And you pretend to be a seller, I'll pretend to be a buyer, and we'll just talk. And that's been super helpful. Sometimes we'll bring people in live who want to practice with us. But one of the best things that you can do, and this is a huge tip, if you want to get better at talking to sellers, is practice with your friends, practice with your spouse, with your kids, and learn to listen and ask questions. Those are the only two skills you need in sales. Really, that's it. Listen and ask questions. That is super important. We're going to be doing a lot of that at livemarketingclass.com. All right. So what is something else that you would do, Gavin? We're going to drive for dollars. We're going to call property managers. We're going to call local realtors. What else?
I would probably go if I was on the ground, I'd probably go to the county and try and get some records. Or I would get onto one of the, what, like a prop stream or something, and start pulling lists. Right,
Yeah.
that's what I would do. If I walked into the county, I'd probably be looking at code violation, tax delinquent lists like that. And what I would do then is I'd skip trace them to get their phone numbers, and then again I'll be back on the phone. And everything that I lead in marketing, in my opinion, everything that I do leads to a phone call. That's my whole purpose in creating a lead, is to get me back on the phone, get me back on the phone. And what you'll find when you start this business, and if you're new, is that you're doing all these busy things, and what you'll find is none of it's getting anyone on the phone, which means you're not making any offers,
Yeah.
which means you're not making any money, right? And that will hit home at some point when the realization hits and you say, I got to change. And that's what it did for me. And that's when I just went all in then, and it was all about, getting people on the phone. So again, I'd go to the county records, I would go to somewhere like PropStream or one of the services. I would pull a list and skip trace, and then I would be cold calling these people. Again, pre-screening them myself, having conversations, and then making offers on them deals.
Excellent. I would be doing something similar too. I would be looking in the court records, county court records. Maybe it's part of the state, maybe it's the county, and looking for evictions. And when you look for evictions, you can find the plaintiffs and the defendants. The plaintiff is usually the landlord, right? And the defendant is the tenant living in the house, right? Well, guess what? Usually in the court records, you can find the addresses of the defendant, and that's the address of the property. And you can also sometimes find the address of the plaintiff. So you could actually find out which property is going through the eviction, and then send a letter, skip trace, and send a letter. So what I would be doing is I would be calling also, but then in the evening, I'd be handwriting 20 or 30, 40 yellow letters every single night. I'd be handwriting 30 or 40 yellow letters every night and sending them to the owners of these properties that are going through evictions or have code violations, things like that. Because sometimes skip tracing doesn't work. You can't get the phone number, or you're calling and the phone number just goes to voicemail because it's an unrecognized number. Yellow letters work really, really well, especially when somebody who's in a more likely to be motivated scenario, right? But here's the thing, Gavin, that phone number on the yellow letter, should you put your cell phone number on that yellow letter, or should you put a number that's like from FreedomSoft that goes to voicemail?
Absolutely. Yes.
Cell phone. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever, whatever. Again, when you start, there's a difference, right? What we're talking about. If you're now running the business and you're going to be tracking your marketing, using virtual numbers, they should always come in to be live. Number one, if it's being redirected so you can track your marketing. But if you're new, again, and you're trying to get people on the phone, you need to get your number, whatever the easiest way is to get people on the phone, right?
Yep.
You can put systems in place down the line, right? We're not saying that you're going to build a business and put your cell phone out everywhere. We're talking about doing your first deal from scratch. And sometimes I used to do it. I started using Vumba, and then I had internet connection problems, and I was like, forget this. So I just started using my cell phone, because why am I battling trying to have a conversation when it keeps going in and out? I just need them on the phone, so just give them my number. It is
And
what it
what
is.
a frustrating mess you create when, they leave a voicemail and you don't answer it because you don't recognize the number. They leave a voicemail, then you call them back, and then you play phone tag for 5 days because they don't recognize your number, or they're busy and they're something in the middle of something. So like one of the best ways to like accelerate and go past your competition in a competitive market is to do what no one else does. And that's answer the phone. If you could just answer the phone, you would probably double or triple your deal flow within a matter of weeks. I mean, it's insane the difference that it makes, because this is what's going to happen. And I've seen this with buyers and sellers. I can't believe you answer your phone. You're the only one who answers their phone, right? You're the only one who calls me back immediately. If you can't answer the phone, it goes to voicemail. You call them right back. So it's just doing the things that no one else is willing to do.
Yep. And that goes for realtors and everything. We
Oh
did a
yeah.
live once. I called 19 realtors and not one answered. 19 different people, and I let it ring the whole thing out into voicemail, and not one answered.
Mm-hmm.
So if you imagine, like, if you answer that phone, I could have been distressed. I might have wanted to list my house. I need to sell, whatever it is. You've got to get in the habit. And if you're going to come into this business, there is no you can't have the attitude that I don't know the number, so I'm not going to answer it. You just can't do that,
Yeah.
because people move, right? People move. They live in California. They used to live in St. Louis. They have a 636 number, but now they're on the West Coast or whatever. If you're in this business and you're doing marketing, you don't have that choice to say, well, I don't know the number, so I'm not going to answer it. No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to answer the phone.
Yeah, which also leads to texting. I mean, texting. We're not big fans of the mass text blasting where you're texting hundreds and hundreds of people a day. We know people that's working for, and that's great, but it's a very, very difficult way to get leads. It's getting harder and harder, but it's a great thing to do on a one-off basis from your cell phone, right? Because if it's coming from your cell phone, it's going to have a much higher deliverability rate. You're not going to get blocked like you would if you're using a virtual cell phone number, right? So yeah, I would call. If it gets a voicemail, I would send them a text. I would call them again. But texting works pretty well. The last marketing campaign I did for our vacant land deals, I tied up 3 properties under contract from texting. Just text. I mean, they called me, left a voicemail, and I texted them back, and I actually texted them the offer, and 3 of them accepted it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be talking about all of that in the livemarketingclass.com, which we're doing next week. And even if you're watching this or listening to it later, you can get the recordings of it, livemarketingclass.com. All right, one more thing that I would do. How about you tell me one more thing you would do if you can think of it, and I'll tell you one more thing I would do. We would do driving for dollars. We would start cold calling people that we find. We would go look for code violations from the county records, court evictions. We'll start cold calling them. Well, we also start calling realtors and property managers, sending yellow letters in the evening when you can't call and it's too late to call anybody. You start sending yellow letters. Anything else you would do?
Yeah, I would go to the local meetup groups like RIAs, things like that. I would network with other wholesalers. I would engage with them in a way of finding out what they're doing in their business, how much marketing they're doing, how much follow-up they're doing on their leads, how many deals are they doing. And what you'll find is they'll go, yeah, we're not very good at follow-up. Yeah, we do deals, we do a couple of months. And then I'd be saying, well, how much follow-up do you do? Oh, I don't really do any, we're really lacking that area. And then that's when I would pose for me to do their follow-up for them. So the conversation would go, okay, well, look, what if I potentially would come in and work some of your leads? You can just send me 10 over and we can see how we do. But what if I did all the follow-up for you? And then if I get anything under contract, we split it 50-50. That wouldn't work, would it? And then what that means is, and that's exactly how I got started, so I can talk to that because
Yeah.
this is literally what I did.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, then you start getting a few leads, you start building that relationship deeper, you keep them in the loop, you update the notes, and then they keep giving you more, and then you start to land deals from the follow up, and all of a sudden you're making 50% of profit other than using your time. You have no outgoings other than your cell phone bill. And that's what I would do. And that would have been up there on my list to do. So it would be networking with wholesalers, working their old or dead leads, whichever term they would like to use. And I would be calling all of them back. Why? Because they were a lead at one time. So what you're going to see is, if I had Joe McCall at 123 Main Street with his number, then I know I'm not got 5 numbers. I know they've had the conversation with Joe before. So my contact rate is going to be way higher than something like a skip trace and the cold calling.
Yeah. 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 That's
So that's
super,
what I do.
super important. I think we just nailed it. Now, guys, at livemarketingclass.com, we're actually going to talk more about this stuff. We're going to dive deeper into it. We're going to give you the scripts, the things that we would say, how we would call them, what we would send. We're going to show you how we make our offers, and you're going to actually see us do this stuff. You're going to see us call sellers live, call realtors and property managers, and it's going to be fun. We're going to do this for houses and for land, mainly houses. But this thing is, we're doing it next week. So go to livemarketingclass.com, livemarketingclass.com. And again, if you get this and watch this or listen to this late, you can probably get the recordings there. So livemarketingclass.com. We're just charging $47 for it. If you go through it and you're like, man, this is stupid, a waste of my time, let us know. We'll refund your money. It's not a big deal, but I just guarantee you that you're going to get more value out of this class than you probably have gotten in many other courses that you might have spent $500 to $1,000, $2,000 for. Okay. We're going to over deliver on the value. It's going to be fun. Livemarketingclass.com. Anything you want to say, Gavin, to wrap this up?
No, join us, guys. I mean, again, you've got nothing to lose, right? It's super cheap. We've done this for free before, but if you're going to take a seat, we have limited people that can actually come in the room because we're going to be interacting with you as well. So we have limited spots. That's why we wanted to charge a little something so you would actually show up and not just apply to come and then not show up. So yeah, I don't think you've got anything to lose. Like I said, make sure you join us live if you can. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys. Again, go to livemarketingclass.com, livemarketingclass.com. We'll see y'all. Bye-bye.